Hey, what's going on today, guys? Today I want to talk about car scams. Okay, and when I say car scams, it's the mechanics, and it's mostly like dealers and places like that will try to convince you that you need a lot more than what you really need. Okay, for an example, you go in and they figure out and you need an alternator. So um, when they change out this alternator, they ask you, you want a serpentine belt? Which your serpentine belt is connected. It runs around your alternator. And if you say, well, how does my serpentine belt look? They're like, well, yeah, it's worn, it's got cracks in it or whatever. And then you say, okay, go ahead and replace my serpentine belt too. Um, but if you don't know, really what's going on, they will charge you the hours for that serpentine belt, and they've got to remove it anyway. So if the serpentine belt might have, an hour or two on it, whatever that price is, they will add that on to your bill. And then, they might give you a description or they might not. It just depends on, like, if you go to, a shade tree mechanic, they might not, do that because they don't have like a printout statement or whatever. But usually a dealer will have a printout statement, but they still might not put it on there. Okay, let's say you're getting a power steering belt. Okay, and most newer cars have serpentine belts, so serpentine belt runs a lot of different things, but a lot of times it doesn't run your power steering though. So if your serpentine belt and power steering belt are separate, and a lot of times your power steering belt will be behind your serpentine belt. So if they have to take the serpentine belt off to get to the power steering belt, they'll come to you and say, hey, would you like us to replace, your power steering belt is worn out. Excuse my friends behind me. Your power steering belt, we know is worn out. We're replacing that. Would you like us to replace your serpentine belt also? And if you agree to it or whatever, they might attach those hours to that power steering belt. In which none of this stuff is right, because you have to remove this stuff. I mean, okay, they're going to charge you for the belt, which is fine. Okay, yeah, pay for the belt, but you shouldn't have to pay for the hours that's connected to that belt. Okay, and then another thing I want to talk about is like that your maintenance light. A lot of newer vehicles have a maintenance light, and whenever that light comes on, you take your car in, and they plug your car in or whatever, see what the light is on for, and there's no telling what that maintenance light could be for. The reason why is that maintenance light comes on every so many thousand miles. Depends on what it is. It might be 3,000 miles, it might be 5,000 miles, or whatever. So it's good to know your car. Get a book on your car, or even now they have different apps, different websites you can go to figure out, what that light, could possibly mean. It could a maintenance light could probably mean 3,000 miles oil change. 5,000 miles, replace this. 10,000 miles, replace this. And that's why that light keeps coming on. But some of those things you might not need, done at that time, or might not be able to even afford to have it done at that time, in which it will go on and, just get the light, turned off or whatever. And there's usually ways that you can turn that light off yourself, turning the ignition a couple times, mashing the brake or gas or, something like that, which you could probably find out in your maintenance book or, on an app or whatever. But those are, a couple things that I wanted to come to you today and talk about. Just scams that dealers and, even shade tree mechanics, could try to pull on you. But knowing your car and stuff like that will really help you in the long run. And that's it. So be good to yourself and be good to others. All right, thank you.